Hi guys, and welcome back here to the Dev Realm, and today we're going to be carrying on our MMO framework series. And if you guys remember what we did in the last episode is that we have created here our edit function, and we have also created our edit and delete button here with the confirmation model. Now what we need to do today is that the play function, right? And what I'm going to do here is that we now have a little bit of a problem that we have a character that's fully modular here, but also we have a completely different character that's set up here on the character creator. And we kind of need to be able to play with both versions of the same character, but they load the data in a different way. So I was thinking to basically find a way to create dynamic, reuse the same character. And what we can do here is that we can use the same character for both modes, but we just turn a flag on indicating that is in editing mode or is in play mode. And then in essence, we use the same model for both scenarios. All right. So what we need to do here is just that on the character creation, right, mode here on the viewport, remember that we have disabled a couple of things here, right? We have disabled the jump, we have disabled a couple of informations in here that we don't need it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and delete all this stuff from here, all right, on the character creator. I'm going to open up in the game mode our main gameplay. I'm going to open up my character, and I'm going to copy all those, and I'm going to go back here. I'm going to press paste. All right. Now what's going to happen is that I'm going to allow me to, when I edit the character, to jump and walk around, right? I don't want to do that, but this is just so we use the same character here. So basically what we're trying to do is that we just kind of a flag that's going to leave the character still in one. And then when we are playing, we're going to turn off that flag and say, okay, we're in play mode. So now we can control the character. Right. So the first thing that we did here, if you guys remember, on the character creation, the only first thing that we did here, to be honest, is that we inverted the rotation of the camera. And on the camera boom, we need to put like 400, right? Then if I compile and save, we should be able to walk normally, right, as a normal character. Right, so how can we do this on the fly? So the first thing is that we are needed to create here a flag on the character creator. Don't worry about the MMO player. Let's just focus on the character creator. And here I'm going to call this is edit mode, or is character creation mode, right? Now what we need to do here is that we're going to make sure this is true, and we are going to make sure that we can leave exposed to spawn. That's fine. By default, we're going to make it is false. All right. So by default is not on creation mode. So we always have the play mode as a priority. Now on the event graph, what we need to do here is that first of all, we need to disable a couple of things. So we don't want the player to have access to the input of the camera. So what we need to do here is that we're going to create a branch. And if this is in the creation mode, and pay attention to this, what I'm going to use here is the negation method. So we can use, for example, in situations like this, we created a Boolean call is character creation. I just want to make sure that is not a character creation, so I can have the inverse of that, right? So I'm going to just do is not, or not Boolean. There we go. So if it's not in character creation, then I can do that. And I'm going to copy this logic here. What we could do here is that I could create a macro and we basically can call this is creation mode, right? And here we are gonna do the same. Actually, I'm just gonna paste this one right here, put it there, and then I can plug it here. Great. And now the same with the jump. Okay. If we are in creation mode, and I think we should just rename this to is not, just to make sure that this macro it reflects better what it does, and only does things on true. If it's on false, it's not going to do anything. So right now I can walk around and jump and do all sorts of things. But now if I set up this to true and press play, I won't be able to play with the character, right? I won't be able to move it. I'll still be able to click on things, but I'm not going to be able to move it, right? Now there's a couple of things here that we also have to do, which is that we need to inverse the camera and make sure that we have the camera proper set up. And that's going to be here. So we're going to create a branch. And if we are in creator mode, remember that first we need to mess with the camera boom, right? We need to make sure that we set the length arm to -400. So it's -400, right? Otherwise, you just leave it the way it is. Now, what we're going to do, we go here. We're going to get our camera boom, set arm length, and we're going to do -400. Nice. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is that we need to get our camera. Where's the camera? Here. By the way, one cool thing that Unreal Engine has is that when you select an object, like I have on the screen right now, let me just show here. When I select this object, I can simply just click F, and then I am teleported to this object, right? Which it makes easy to find objects in the scene. But anyway, we got a camera, and we know that we gotta mess around with the rotation to 180 degrees, all right? So we're just gonna go back to our event graph, and we're gonna get this, and we're gonna set local, set relative rotation. Actually, we just need to set rotation, right? I'm gonna plug it right here, and the Z axis we need to make sure is 180. And now this is enabled to true, so now we should have exactly the same thing that we had before, but we can't jump, we can't do anything. And now if I change that back to false, I can compile and save, and I can do all sorts of stuff here. I can run, I can do all sorts of things. Now, so this is really good. Now, as you can see here, that what I want to do here right now is that I want to go back to our MMO here, this player. We're gonna delete it, right? We don't care about this guy anymore. Just gonna delete it, and that's gonna probably throw an error. And now on our BP MMO gameplay, we need to basically choose which is our game pawn that we're trying to use. Now we're just gonna use the same one for the character creation. So we're just gonna add it here on the pawn class, right? I'm gonna compile and save. And now I'm just gonna drag and drop this guy right here to the game modes. And here, I'm just gonna call this BP base player. Right. Now, if I open up that level that we had for testing, test one, I should be able to walk around with the same character in essence. And I can even do something crazy here, which is that we can just go and find, let's say, our player, open up. And here I can just mark this as true. And now look at that. I can't move. So now what happened here, guys, is that we basically using the same model in both scenes, because it makes more sense to me that we just, you know, share those methods. In this way, you don't have to maintain two models, two things. So there is a situations where you do wanna basically add two models, but in this case, we just want to maintain one. All right. Right. So now that we have done this, we need to make sure that when we press play from this scene, from the what is it? Main play. When I press play from the main menu, when I press edit or create a new character, I'm not allowed to move here, which is the case. Right. But if you need to do that, and basically I recommend you to do this, like changing those parameters. So first, we're going to go back to game mode. We're going to go to the character creator. We're going to open up here our widget, right? And when we start the event graph right here, by the way, what we can do here is that we're just gonna collapse this to a node, and we're gonna call this start up, right? And I know that's a very bad name, it doesn't mean a lot, but at least we compact everything to blocks, so later on we can probably change the name of this. But anyway, on the startup, when we are finishing this, I want to get here the reference that I have from the BPC, the component. I want to get the player controller reference. From my player controller reference, I want to get the player pawn reference. And from here, right, I want to set the Boolean value that we created, which is called is, do we have it here? No. Set is creation mode, character creation mode. There you go. And now we're going to put this, like, if you leave it to false, what's going to happen is that you're going to be able to play with that. And that's what you don't want. And you just want to make sure that's true. All right. All right, cool. Now we are not able to move. We have this character created properly, which is great. We have our player, we have everything. Now let's create the play button. Right. Play button is very easy to do. It's I think it's the easy thing that we have to implement here so far. It's nothing complicated at all. Now, if I open up here my blueprints, and if I open up my, let's say, main game mode, and open up here our, where is it? Main gameplay, no, main menu, widget, and let's open up this. Right. Now, remember that we have created here edit logic, created logic, and so on and so forth. Now, what I have to do here is that I need to add the play function. And the play function, we basically need to do the same thing here. We're going to copy and paste this. We're going to open up our other level, which is called test in here. We're going to compile and save that. And now we basically need to set our, game instance saves lot number and the same thing we're doing here. So we're just going to copy this logic. I'm going to paste it right there. I'm going to plug it here. Plug this one there. I'm just going to line everything up. And here's going to basically say, okay, what is this lot's name, index? And what is the save game that we're trying to load? All right. And that's basically all we got to do here. Great. Nice. Compile, and we're going to save this stuff. Right. Great. Now, what happened is that if I press play, it will load this game. Now, we kind of have a little bit of of a problem right now is that we have the widget on others to start all this logic, but now is when you join the game, like you're loading, let's say your scene, you are be able to play the game with your friends and all that stuff. So what we got to do here is that we already passing the instance, which is great. And now we are loading up our, let's say, character into the whole world of the game, right? So what we're going to do here is that we're going to go back to our game mode. And we are going to go back here to, I think is on our game instance. And I think it's game instance, main gameplay, that's the one. And we just gonna enable the listened Blazor client. I'm gonna open up this, right, which is our BP MMO gameplay. And this is our game mode, right? And if I'm not mistaken, the game mode, if I just print a string, if I press, let's say, play, I didn't say that. It's throwing an error. I see. That is adding an error. I mean, we have to figure out that in a second. But it's throwing an error before that. Let's check. Why is it doing this? Well, anyway, let's just play here first as standalone. And then what we can do here is that we can try to figure out that in the next one. But before we can fix that problem, let me just go back here to the widgets, components. I think, no, that's the wrong components. I am looking for the main menu one. Now, we are loading, I think, the wrong level. Because is that, no, that's the right level. We're loading up the right level. Let me just do a F9 here and make sure that when we press play, from the main menu, we are loading up that right level. There we are. So, okay, that's fine. That's fine for now. And as you can see, look at that hello, right? We can see that hello coming up. Let me just disable this here, right? Now, that hello basically means that we are trying to load our character here that we just joined. Right, I'm gonna do this in the most easy way for now. And after, we're gonna have to probably find a way to reload this on the clients, because what I would like to do here is I start to replicate things on clients and servers. So we already have the player that you created started to load this data and replicate for other players that's already on the session, because there will be a problem to rejoin that. Right, so the first thing we're gonna do here is a very simple thing. We're gonna get the game instance. And let me just do a print here. And let's cast to BP MMO instance, right? And let me just break this. Get player save object. And let me double check if this is gonna work exactly how I want. So if I press play, it does work. All right. Now what I can do here is that get the player appearance, break. Now I have like name, for example. Now press play. We have that Matto new player character here. Right. So now I'm gonna do this in a very simple way, and then we change it. So now what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna get actors, all actors of class, and the actor of class that I want is going to be get, let's say, get actor Now BP. How have we called the player again? Variables. There we go. BP base player. So we're gonna get all the players of this class, and we are gonna call this API change color. We're gonna call this API to change the hair, and we're gonna call that API to change the gender, right? And that's it. Great. Now I'm gonna just put the hair to that, the gender, and the color, right? I'm gonna compile and save. And if I press play, now I have the character I have created. Also, there's one thing I have to set, which is called the set is character creation mode, which is going to be false, which means that you are going to be able now to play with your character, which is, oh, one thing I forgot to do here is that, let me open up the character here, the base. All right, we do have, let me just press play. Play. Oh, it's creation mode. But in this case, because it started as a creation mode, and then I see what it does. So what we are gonna do here is that we're just gonna duplicate this. I'm gonna put it here on the false. And I'm just gonna do a tricky thing here, because this should be called when we spawn the player, but at this point the player has been already spawned and we haven't set that yet. So it's gonna be 400 and this is gonna be 0, right? And what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna create here a custom event called API set play or like set is creation mode. I'm gonna plug it this one right there. I'm gonna plug it from here, right? This is gonna run mainly on the client. Make sure it's reliable. And now I'm gonna put this one here, compile and save that stuff. I'm gonna copy that. And I'm gonna set it here. And the next thing that I want to do here is that when we are loading our character, we can basically just call this this set, right? Maybe we should pass which state we would like to be, but I think on this case we're gonna refactor this. I just want to make sure it plays really well. So if I press play right now, look at that, we have our created character. So right now, look at this, how cool is this, right? We can come here, we can select it to, let's say, yellow, this hair, and we can change this name to this, and then I can play with this character that I just created. It's not fully changed the hair, but I think it's to do with something that we are not passing through here properly. But the point is that we can now delete, we can now edit those characters, and we can like do all sorts of things. We can just press play and everything will work. The hair, for some reason, the hair is not working, but we can have a look on why that's not happening on the next episode. But once again, guys, thank you very much for watching. I know it's been a very long series, and we are adding so much stuff to this project so far. But what I want to do here is that from this point now forward, I want to create more small systems, just enough so we can start to communicate with our server and start to bring, items and things from real server. All right. So once again, thank you very much for watching, and I see you in the next one.